right. All right, so this is lumbar accessory mobility. First, let me point out the setup. I have something under his ankles, because if I didn't, look, it's just kind of resting. It's resting, stretching out their dorsiflexors. I want to keep either a pillow under there or a foam roller or something so it's just a little bit of support there. And then if you look here, I have a rolled up towel right under his forehead, just to make it a little more comfortable. Some people like that. Some people ask if they want it. They say, no, they don't need it. Helps keep our tables a little bit cleaner. I find that nobody dislikes it. Sometimes you want to put a pillow under their waist as well or under their torso. Some people don't like having the pressure on the front there. Some people don't like that little bit of how much extension it gets in there. They'll give you an idea if they say, oh, I never lay on my stomach. That's the person you're putting that pillow under. If they're really irritable, or make it even more comfortable there. The key is they've got to be comfortable. If the whole time they're just in a little bit of pain just laying there, it's going to be hard to get a good read and be able to spend as much time as you want there, and then for them to be able to get up. So I always say, is it all right if I bring up your shirt? I say that every time, even if it's the 100th time I've seen that person. And then I make sure I know where the top of the iliac crests are. You can come closer over here, Sam. You know, I want to come to the top of the iliac crest so I know where I'm at. I always like the dorsal aspect of my hand to be able to start at the sacrum. So I like using my right hand, so I'm over here. But if I ever go to the other side and my right hand gets tired when I'm treating, I'm going to go with my left hand there. And so I feel that there, because I want to know there's the sacrum. So then I come down right there. There's a number of different hand positions that can be used. This is the one I like. If you find one that works for you that's reliable, that's fine. And this way I'm pushing a lot with this one. This one's feeling. Standard way to do it is about 3 pushes on each one, not talking to them. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit of feedback. But if we're going to be a complete, really careful exam, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 at L5. 1, 2, 3 at L4, 1, 2, 3 at L3, 1, 2, 3 at L2, 1, 2, 3 at L1, 1, 2, 3 at T12. Sometimes I would go all the way up to T10, but at least to T12. Don't spend longer, even if you're like, well, I'm not sure what I saw, you're going to lose your blink response. Then the next one, the very first, you'll be like, well, how was it? Because what if it changes as you go? You don't know. And what if it's painful for them? You're not talking to them yet. And then do the same thing unilaterally. I like to, again, use my hypothenar eminence. I feel the iliac crest there, and I slide down. Remember, L5 goes right there, and then you have the iliac crest right there. You'll get used to where you just see somebody and you know where everything is. There's just a little bit of a line there. And I can just see it. So I know right there, I feel it there, and I slide in. That way I don't have to be really digging into them and seem like I'm a novice, not an expert. I just feel it right there. I slide down there. 1, 2, 3 at L5. 1, 2, 3 at L4. This is all on the left side. 1, 2, 3 at L3. 1, 2, 3 at L2. 1, 2, 3 at L1. 1, 2, 3 at T12. Then I'm going to come over here. Some people advocate switching sides. I like to keep my same hand. If I'm not sure, then I will switch sides and do the other hand. I'm not sure what I'm feeling. 1, 2, 3 at L5, and then all the way up. And so the key here is to start seeing if you notice a difference side to side. Now I've done everywhere. If they had any that were really uncomfortable, they could give me a, they jump, and they, ooh, that's really painful, I hope not. Should have an idea before I'm getting to this point. Now I want to talk to them. I can go central, I can go unilateral. Depends on if they're having unilateral pain or central pain, how much time I want to spend there. But so we're going to go central then unilateral. So I'm going to say, how's that feel, Logan?
It's okay.
And so they say, okay, then I'm going to ask some more questions, especially it depends on what it feels for me. So that's L5 and L4. Remember, there's some research that shows that regardless of what they feel, no questioning, if you just go there and treat like a robot, if you just spend time at L4 and L5, they really get about the same results as if you really talk to them and everything. So it's easy to say, well, let's just go do those two. Well, most problems are going to be at L4 and L5. You have to have a hugely robust sample to be able to differentiate out between there. Because there's a vast majority of people, L4 and L5, it's going to be where their issue is. But we want to make sure you know if it's painful, and we go L4. How's this one? They say it's painful. What was the difference between those two? Oh, they're exact same? Oh, it wasn't as bad as the first one. And then if I'm at L3, oh, and then a lot of times, okay, that's almost nothing. Okay, so it's worse a little bit here lower. Yes. Then we're speaking the same language. Make sure you do that all the way up to T12. Some people have lower lumbar pain, but it's symptomatic, like, oh, I feel that down here when I'm right here. They'll feel their hip pain or their anterior, the lateral or posterior hip pain or the anterior hip pain or their lower lumbar pain when you're at the TL junction. So they say that hurts. You want to know where. And so then I'm going to come around this thing on the other side. And this time I'm going to go more than 3, when I'm starting to talk to them. How's that feeling? And they can tell me, good. Ooh, that's tender. And then we go all the way up, L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, T12, talking to them. And then we start saying, so it's a little worse here than here. Then I want to know side to side. Especially if there's one side more than another. I typically like to start on the side that I think will be less tender. But that's up to you. So I'll say now I'm at the bottom right. I don't say L5 typically. Say I'm at the bottom vertebrae on the right. How does that compare? I'm going to spend 20 seconds there. I want to know how that compares to 20 seconds here on the left. Sometimes people say there's no difference, but then you spend 20 seconds there, sometimes up to a minute if they're really low irritability. And they'll say, oh, that is a little bit different. Typically it's more painful for you to do that on the side down. Every once it'll be contralateral. And you want to make sure, since it's somewhat odd to be contralateral to have it be more symptomatic, then you want to make sure it's repeatable. That it, when you work everything again and you go back to it, is it still worse than that contralateral side, or is that just an aberrant finding, something that was transient? And then I want to say, okay, now how are we at left L4? Or I'll say, we're going to go up 1 from the bottom. For you and I'll say L4. Compared to the right. The key is to get good with your questioning. Say, I'm going to spend 20 seconds here. I'm going to do the other side. I want to know the difference. Because you say, how's this? They'll jump. They want to give you answers. Okay, now I'm going to go to the middle one at right for 20 seconds. I want to know how it is compared to the other side. And then we do that all the way up. And make sure that you're not sliding. So this one on the side, I am right there where the transverse, where the vertebrae is going like this. Out here would be the side of the transverse process. I'm not going all the way in at the side right there. But I'm also not just angling on the spinous process right there. So right at the meat, right there, you just feel it in your hand right there. The key is that we get a really good exam. And we go as long or as deep as we need to according to their symptoms. If they have pain every time they take a step, we don't need much. If they say it takes me a mile before I start feeling that pain, you're not going to feel it with just 10, maybe even 20 seconds of this. Probably going to need a minute, spending some time there. And then we can get back up and we can retest, see what else has been there. Even though that was just exam, there's a lot of treatment. It's a therapeutic exam. We want to see what's different. You don't want to spend too long the first time. I've been wrong thinking, oh, they need treatment, and I spend even longer there than what I need for the exam. And then they can barely get off the table or something's worse. It's never long-term worse. You want to see how they do with after you've been doing an accessory motion exam, getting up off the table. They feel awesome. Next time you can spend a lot longer if you need to. But you want to make sure you just do the exam portion at first. See how they're going to respond when they get up. I've made mistakes where it took people 5 minutes to be able to get up and get moving again. And that's never a comfortable feeling. So that's the accessory mobility exam, L5 through T12 primarily. Sometimes we go up to T10 for the lumbar spine.